14,560 pounds, as you see it here, which includes the weight of the little slide-open camp kitchen in the basement of this beautiful Montana 3790, or this video could apply to a 3791 here at Haylett RV of Coldwater, Michigan. And it is a beautiful day to be a duck here at Haylett RV. There's this constant drizzle in the air. I'm soaked to the bone. So if you folks could see it in your heart of hearts to look through the weather, of which I cannot control, and understand that at least you're where it's dry. Meanwhile, my feet are wet and getting sore from stomping around out here. We are going to cover a lot of really good things on this beautiful elevated rear living luxury full-time warranted Montana fifth wheel. And one of the cool things that you can get on a lot of different Montana models is this slide open kind of camp kitchen situation. A lot of your big fifth wheel brands are starting to come up with different varieties of these things, and they all kind of do them a little different. I haven't really found one I don't like. I think they're all pretty cool. So it slides in and out of the pass-through compartment there, and yes, you do lose a little bit of storage as a result. However, as you're going to see when we go through this floor plan, this is an RV that can give up some storage. You have that huge rear slide open storage tray compartment. So this, you can store stuff somewhere else in this RV, but you know what you can't do any other way? This thing. It gives you dual outside fridges, so you can keep maybe adult drinks in one and kid drinks in the other, or 2 fridges of adult drinks perhaps. You've also got this neat little slide open kind of rolled steel, just prep station, work tray, whatever you want to call it. Handy storage box right here, which obviously you could throw just about anything you want to. And then you've got a neat little outdoor grill that slides open under that. So this whole thing kind of slides in, closes up, gets out of the way, there when you need it, gone when you don't. And here's a quick look at that massive rear storage compartment I was telling you about. You have these little side saddle wing areas, and it's all aluminum caged in, kind of like a diesel pusher basement. You have an 800-pound rated slide open MORryde tray here. And this all rides under your living area, under those hide-a-beds in that entertainment center. What's cool about this, it's a nice place, like if you want to be able to do something like bring bikes, but you don't want to utilize that 2-inch rear receiver hitch that's underneath this tray in the back of the RV. You want to keep your bikes out of the elements, especially on a crappy weather day like today. Like maybe you spent some good money on some bikes. If you're looking at something like a Montana, you probably don't have a Huffy from Walmart. Not that there's anything wrong with my bicycle, but I digress. I think, guys, if this isn't enough storage for you, you're probably, you might be a hoarder, and you may need a storage unit. I obviously have a few lights on already, but there's a fun thing I like to do to entertain myself in these Montanas. I walk in and I start going, and I just light this sucker up like a Christmas tree, because you can. It is awesome. There's the little accent lights under the counter, inlaid into the front of that island. There's lighting all over. The indirect accent lighting that runs in that crown molding, I am so glad to see that back. I always love that. I think it's a cool thing that they brought that back there. We will come back to the kitchen area, but I want to start up top here. You may have noticed, I think you probably saw the Max Air Ceiling Vent Fan in the kitchen. It's got a rain sensor. Would be very handy on a day like today, obviously, with the drizzly weather that we got. But I want to start here in the rear elevated living room. There's so much to cover. I might just kind of be jumping around because it's like every time you look somewhere else in a Montana, you're like, oh yeah, there's that. Oh yeah, there's that. Like for instance, you see an electric space heating fireplace right here. But what you don't see is the whisper ducted air system, and you won't see it either here or up in the master bedroom. This has dual whisper ducted air, so it's quiet cooling back here and in the bedroom, which makes sense because in both areas you are in the upper deck right next to where that AC unit would be. It is much, much quieter. So you got a 30,000 BTU cooling system. Also up there, you have a 16,500 BTU heat pump. Combine that with the 5,120 BTU electric space heating, quote, fireplace, and you've got yourself a ton of heating that does not require propane use. And I knew I'd forget this. I looked down, I'm like, man, look at that big carpetless upper deck. But here's the thing. How's about just carpetless, period? because they have gotten rid of it in their full-blood Montanas. That is not a carpet. That is like a vinyl type material that is similar to what you'd find used in like pontoons. So it makes a lot of sense here in the dining area because it's more stain resistant than common linoleum. So, if you spill a drink over here in the dining area where you would be inclined to have drinks, it makes sense that that is, spill resistant. Now, as we look around all the fascia, it's all hardwood. You can see that you've got 2-section day-night blackout shades and, well, daytime privacy shades and a nighttime blackout shade. And you've got these dual opposing sofas. And if we take a look, you can see how they both open up into sleeper spaces. And that's one of the neat things about this floor plan. It gives us a couples camper with the sleeping capacity of 4 to 6 people. Now, another thing that's very cool is the fact that that TV is on a power lift in the back. So when we were taking a look at that little sneak peek in the, I guess you'd almost call it bunk mode with the 2 hide-a-beds open, you saw the power TV up, but obviously it's down right now. You may also notice that all these windows open for airflow. But I use the phrase like bunk mode there. With those 2 hide-a-beds in place, another thing that's kind of neat is these Montanas have a privacy curtain to fully enclose and block off this upper deck area. And that is something that brands with these opposing hide-a-beds in like a front living, a rear living, or whatever, they don't usually do. So even if it's not going to be used as a like short-term alternative to a bunkhouse, like if your kids are big, if they're tall, if you have adult guests, a bunkhouse may not work for you. But something like this, adults can sit in and be comfortable during the day, sleep in and be comfortable at night. And now they finally have privacy that they just never had before. And in case you're wondering, here's what it looks like. What's kind of cool is it's real easy still to slip up and down those stairs, and you might notice that little kind of motion light, night light on the staircase right there. So it's easy to hop up and down if need be. Like if you got the grandkids over and they're like, hey, Grandpa, Grandma, I'm, had a bad dream or whatever. It's easy to figure out where you're going to get up there. Plus, all of the indirect lights above function as an absolutely fantastic night light in case you got a kiddo that isn't quite as acclimated to sleeping in a dark, strange place yet. And I also like to demonstrate the fact that even at my height, I'm 6'2", 6'3", depending on how much I'm slouching or stretching, I can very comfortably walk around up here without anything, bonking me in the head or getting in the way. Now, spinning us around a little bit, or rather spinning myself around, you're mostly still facing the same way. You see a power theater recliner, heat massage, there's accent lighting below that. There's also handy little USB plugs built in, that little circular silver control panel there, so that you can keep your phone topped off. And that center armrest is a neat little hidden remote control storage, so you can maybe keep the grandkiddos from messing with your TV and your channels. Nothing like having one of the littles thinking they're helping, and they run a channel scan on you. I've seen it done. Cross breeze windows everywhere, and I don't want to miss the fact that if we take a look here, there are windows galore on this floor plan. They are all over the campsite. Well, frankly, on both sides, but the campsite is just peppered with them. Between all the slides, the walls, the everything, they all have an opposing, sister breeze window. It's absolutely fantastic what they've done. Over here in the kitchen, if you look, this is really, really similar to the kitchen you might find in something like the 3120 Montana. And frankly, that's all this is. This is a 3120 Montana that's been stretched a little bit and given a separated living zone and kitchen zone instead of a combined living zone and kitchen zone. It's very similar. Like once we get here, moving forward, you've seen it. You've seen it before 100 times. This one is just the 3120 on steroids. Okay, what do we want to do? We want to open up all the storage and we want to take a look at everything because it has plenty to offer. And actually, I think I'm going to start down here under the theater seating with the pots and pans storage. So I likened this to the 3120 Montana earlier. That's a 35-foot Montana fifth wheel. This is obviously a significantly chunk larger, but I think this is something that'll be used more for destination full-time use versus mobile full-time use. And having a big place like that for those heavy-duty big pots and pans is extremely nice. As we work our way up here, you can almost see my reflection in that the back of that convection microwave, and I love this symmetrical kitchen. It has such a good look to it. The storage space, the shelving on both sides. A lot of people are going to like the wine rack above, to each their own. Now, all solid surface countertops, of course. I don't know what luxury fifth wheel doesn't boast that feature. Sealed burner stovetop is something Montana was doing way before everybody else. Frankly, they're still ahead of the curve on that. You've got the dual pop-up power towers, so you've got household and USB plugs on either side. Very appliance friendly, phone charge friendly, whatever the case may be. Plug in your little Amazon Echo Dot or whatever you got. And below those drawers, more space and a full drawer below the oven as well. But as we back up here, we're greeted by an 18 cubic foot refrigerator freezer. If we're looking at the 3790 Montana, which is what this one is, it is a gas and electric fridge with an automatic changeover in the event of power loss. They seem to have a little bit better service records when they're, going down the road versus the 18 cubic foot electric only refrigerator with a 1,000-watt inverter. It can go down the road, but that's what the inverter's for. But we've just found that they're not made to do that. They're not made to jiggle down the road, and getting service on those things is a straight nightmare. It's just a straight nightmare. Unless you happen to personally be an authorized repair guy for what Samsung or Frigidaire or whoever they're using, it's not fun. Anyway, sorry. I've got a thing about that. As a service-based facility, that is something that is very near and dear to our hearts. A couple things we're looking at. Let's start over here in this upper hutch. Obviously, just tons of storage space. The hidden hinges, always looking good. But you see the sticker right there. If this RV would have been built with the roof solar package, that's where you'd see the charge controller. That is also potentially where you would see the in-command center if this were a Legacy Edition Montana. Obviously, it is not. Since it is not, instead of a digital touchscreen, we just have buttons. And frankly, that ain't all bad. I'm a tech dude. I like fancy stuff, but frankly, it's nice. I can just come over here and go, lights. I don't have to touch the touchscreen, wait for it to boot up, etc. Now, it's not that hard to do it, but I don't have to. I feel confident with buttons. I know I've heard people say that. I feel confident with buttons. Also, take note, 12-volt tank heaters for all of your holding tanks. That's one of the hot, cold, camp type enhancements that you'll find in Montana's. Coffee maker corner, fitted for Keurigs. They purposely measured that out when they made their kitchen situations here. Down below, obviously, I like the little drawers too. They can be a neat little kind of welcome home bureau. Set down your mail or put down some groceries while you're getting your hands emptied out. There's also a motion sensor inside of that pantry so that, it's not always dim and dark when you're trying to reach in there and figure out what's for dinner or, what might be expired and making that smell. Although, hopefully, in a dry pantry, you don't have something that would have expired and been smelling up the place. Like a raccoon. Moving on. Inside that solid surface island here, you got the high-rise stainless sprayer faucet and an extra large, you've got 2 sinks, which is normal, but you've got a giant farm sink plus a normal size sink that you could use for prep, for rinsing, for whatever. Full storage below that. I would say great for wastebaskets, but, obviously, Montana's got it covered. Now, I love their dining arrangement over here. What they do in their dining area of these full Montanas is just awesome. Now, first of all, if you look down there, you see that there's that little buckle strap around the base of it. If you want to, you can use that to keep the chairs in place, but you don't have to. Thanks to what I like to call the chair buddy. I don't know if there's an actual word for it, but they have this little gas strut arm that basically will hold those chairs down so they're not bouncing around in transit. Remember, that is the new carpetless flooring within there. Kind of like in, above the island, you've got that beautiful accent light feature with the indirect lighting to kind of cast a little bit of a glow around there. The windows that open for breeze all the way around, the pop-up power tower on the end. But this has an absolutely fantastic, guest capacity. First, the table itself actually telescopes outward, which is nice whether there's 1 or 2 of you or 3 or 4 of you. It doesn't matter. It's just nice to have that extra elbow room. But then you see you've got kind of a little bit of a, I call it destination dining desk below that. Now, what you do from here is kind of cool. It's got this, the extension leaf actually folds in. You just pull that down. Obviously, it ain't hard to do with one hand. And those 2 legs that were sticking out, they're doing the supporting. So suddenly, you can see how there's 2 chairs fitting on that other side very easily. Now, I've got 1 chair here, and then you can see the 4th chair folded up over here. Chairs number 2 and 3 are fold-away guest chairs, and you can store them any number of places in this big RV. It's a really cool feature. I like how they've done it, and I like the new style. Like, they've enhanced the storage in that table, while still giving you maximum guest capacity. From here, we're just a hop, skip, and jump away to the central vacuum system and the little electric dustpan so that you can just kind of sweep everything up. Very handy in this, especially since it's carpetless. Now, again, the weather's not cooperating. You can kind of see my footprints in here, but the good news, you won't see that. You know, I can't control the weather, but I can control whether or not you see my footprints when you take this RV home. You like that? You see what I did there? That was pretty good, wasn't it? Right off the top of my head. The fact is, we are not a hidden fee dealership at Haylett RV. Every single new RV that we carry, it will be sold to you. It will be cleaned. The sale price includes getting it cleaned, getting it here. A big fifth wheel like this would include 2 batteries in our pricing, full propane, obviously. Water, electric surge protectors. This would have 50 to 30 to 15 amp reducers included with it. We do everything we reasonably can to make sure that all you have to do is put food in the pantry and make a reservation wherever you want and go camping. Unless, of course, you're going to just kind of, you know, camp in the middle of the desert, which you can. Just like the kitchen, we've got another of those rain sensory max air vent fans. You saw how the shower head hardware is an adjustable height system. There is a seat in the corner of that seamless shower, and as we come down here, we've got a sealed edge countertop with that recessed stainless sink, which is a beautiful combination. The color contrast and everything is great. Awesome drawer space in here. Great room for a wastebasket. And notice, I really like how they do this. They put a mirror there plus a medicine cabinet on the side. It makes the whole room look and feel bigger because the mirror is massive. But secondly, it gives you more space for, like, you know, shavers, medications, things like that. Passing the sliding privacy door here in the bedroom, remember that we have dual 15,000 BTU whisper ducted air, quiet cooling bedroom and living areas. Now, I knew I'd forget to flip on one of the lights overhead in this bed area, but let's take a look at this. They have recently added that Cyclops window above the headboard of the bed just to let some extra light in there, and it gives it an awesome look. It also is a good way to remind me to talk about the fact that Montanas use a little bit deeper bed slide so that you have more room at the foot of the bed to stand up and get dressed. Now take a look over here. Most big fifth wheels, like I've left this closet door open on purpose. It's neat that you can see that power outlet in there, but that's usually what most brands are relying on for CPAP functionality. Not Montana. They actually take the time and effort to build outlets into the sides, the inside of the slide box. That is a very uncommon feature. It's hard to build fifth wheels that way. It costs more, but that's one of the things. Montana's not the very cheapest fifth wheel you're going to find out there, but 17 years in a row, the #1 choice of full-time RVers, can't be wrong. Technically, king bed is an upgrade here, though why, I don't know. I've only ever had one request in my entire career for a Montana with a queen bed. And you might have noticed how I intentionally left that bedspread pulled back right there. It's because they're using a much nicer mattress here than the typical blue back-breaking wafer of death that seems to come in most RVs. I know you know what I mean. And again, remember, we're carpetless. What's also cool is there is full storage below that bed with an easy lift system. And it's a full bed storage. They used to have these little side trough type things because the slide mechanism was actually under the bed. They don't do that anymore to maximize your storage capacity. Now you can see how the light is suddenly magically on inside of that closet. It's because it's got a motion sensor, so it'll turn on when you need it, turn off when you don't. I want to peek up here. It's neat that it's got the little laundry hamper, but it also has like a handy little kind of shoe shelf organizer. Could be used as a dresser, I suppose. These are all even here in the closet. That's hardwood kind of countertops, by the way. And there's that motion light doing its job. Same thing over here in this closet, which, of course, is going to be our washer-dryer prep space. Whether you want a combo or a stackable, it's capable. And you see how it's got that nylon buckle strap in there? That is for those fold-away guest chairs. It's one of the many places you could put them in that closet, under the bed. In the pass-through, you could put them on the sliding rear tray. I suppose you could put them on the roof. My wife would tell me where I could put them, but I don't believe that would be comfortable. So for 17 consecutive years, this brand has been the #1 selling RV to full-timers out there. That doesn't just happen. I mean, that takes dedication, effort, keeping on top of things. They are always... What I like about Montana is they're worried about not just how their RV looks and functions today, but how it will look and function 8, 9, 10 years from now. because it's those people who have the 10-year-old Montanas that will tell the new buyers, yeah, I've been absolutely stoked with this thing. This has been, you know, the purchase of purchases to make right here. This is the right decision. So they're always making sure that they hold up. Now, they do a couple little things different. Like, if you just look at it on paper, you're like, yeah, well, other fifth wheels have a walk-on roof and they're laminated and 0 degree rated. Sure, a lot of them do, and that's good. But most fifth wheels are not enjoying the benefit of machine-precise CNC routing on their sidewalls. All of the cuts on those sidewalls are precise within 1/1000th of an inch. That is not a common quality. Even at Keystone, actually. Only the Fusions and Impacts at Keystone also share that quality with Montana. They're more premier lines. The, what is it called? Road Armor pin box and suspension system on this gives it a smooth ride and handling going down the road. And at that kind of weight, you're going to want to make sure that it does ride and handle nicely. Chances are, you're going to use this RV as a destination model, probably not a tower and a goer. There's nothing that would physically prevent you from doing that beyond maybe your own comfort and limitations, but the RV can certainly hold up to the rigors. You see that we have applied the protective slide awnings here. That's something that has just become more affordable. We're adding more and more of those to our Montana fifth wheels here at Haylett RV. Even the High Country series, like that beautiful mid-bunk bonus room model you see behind us here. Now, pardon me as I have to make a little magic wave across the screen here as we take a quick look at the enclosed docking center of this big bad beauty. There's also a lot of misinformation out there about, you know, R values, insulation packages, this, that, and the other thing. There's plenty of well-insulated fifth wheels. I don't think brands should have to exaggerate their stories. If they have to exaggerate their story, then there's something wrong inherently. Montana is and has been 0 degree functional since 2005 and counting. It is an excellent hot cold camp rated RV. Like, you've got the privatized enclosed protected heated and docking center, and when we get in here you see that even the pass-through compartment itself has direct heating vents. There is also motion lighting in here, so like if you need to get in here, if you need to get something, whether it has or doesn't have that optional slide open kitchen convenience station, whatever you want to call it right there. There's always excellent storage, and it's nice to have that light kick on when and where you need it. I actually just kind of had a funny mental image of those lights kicking on as you slide that little camp kitchenette open, which theoretically should happen. I don't know why it makes me laugh. It just did. I'm weird like that. So, more to the point of the Montana, 6-point hydraulic auto leveling system. Big Montana, which is what this would be versus a High Country, has hydraulic slides and leveling. The hydraulic slides are on the main deck. The upper deck slides will be electric. There's weight reasons behind that. Then there's the little Montana touches. They just do this stuff so well. Handy little sewer hose caddy so that you don't have to worry about your black tank stuff mixing in with all your other freshwater stuff. But again, this thing has so much storage. I think there's always going to be some place to keep things. It is nice to have a dedicated place for that sewer hose, especially next to, imagine that, the sewer hookups. Now, we saw that slide open storage tray open earlier. That's what's in that lower compartment there, if you recall. Chances are, if you're shopping a Montana like this, you've probably been shopping it for a while. This isn't just like a purchase that you make over the weekend, you know, and it's not something you just pick up off Amazon Prime. But a recent change here, an update. Most newer Montanas have a 3,000-pound towing hitch. And you look at this, you say, oh, does this have that? I see that there's a hitch on the back. The models like this that have a slide open storage tray, these have a 300-pound cargo accessory receiver only. It is not rated to be a full towing hitch. That being said, considering the size of this big behemoth, I can't imagine doing any kind of doubles towing with this anyway. Now, there are some states that will let you just go bananas. They are mostly lesser populated states that have a lot of very wide open, flat roads without a whole lot of traffic. Around here, you know, and even in southern Michigan, we live in a small town. I couldn't imagine hauling something like that around with doubles. But the fact is, it probably doesn't matter because you're probably, well, it doesn't matter because you can't tow behind it anyway because it's just an accessory hitch. Anyway, moving up front here, the windows all over the door side of this thing, that's something that is an underrated aspect of this floor plan because you have the dual campside slides, but they are both loaded with windows to give you some awesome, awesome campsite viewing. Normally, I'd like to open that door and show you how these are the 0G MORryde stable steps, the variety that will hold themselves kind of in mid-air like some kind of David Blaine magic trick. or the magician of your choice, as it were. If David Blaine's not your preference, insert magician here. But with the weather today, I didn't want to do that. I did want to take a second, though. I want to draw your attention. Look at the door. The size of the door in relation to the size of the slide out. They're both 6.5 foot tall. Montanas have residential height doors not found on all fifth wheels. It's actually fairly a rarity in our fifth wheels and trailers, especially trailers, but fifth wheels in general. It's an anti-slam door as well, and remember there is a full viewing window in that door, which is pretty darn cool. So as I was getting up here, one of our salesmen was walking by, and he went, "Hey man, Josh, you don't got to do that. You know, people will understand if you don't get on the roof. It's a rainy day." And I said, "You know, this is an awesome little conversation and segue to have." And I appreciate the concern. People say, "Man, Josh, please don't fall off the roof of these things." Understand that is not my interest either, of course. But here's the thing. Like, I get it. Like, you're thinking, "Oh, it's raining, it's wet, it's slippery up there." Sure. But what's it going to be like when you're cleaning the roof? See, the thing is, there's no soap up here. This isn't bad, you know. It's going to be wet and slippery when you're cleaning the roof anyway. And here's the thing. The roof, it's really grippy. It's got like a nice texture to it, and it really grabs the rubber soles of your shoes. So it's by intention. They use something that will try to keep you as safe as possible while you're up here, you know. Everything's a calculated risk. Move slow, stay low, and you'll be safe. Obviously, we can walk on the roof. I don't really know of a fifth wheel that can't. Montanas do have walkable slide boxes, though, which is nice. That's obviously a little trickier with the slide awning package, but it gives you an idea of the construction that goes into these. That little plug over there is your solar prep plug. Montanas do offer a factory solar package, but obviously you could build your own, and all the wiring is done for you here. And the lighter, brighter roof, they went away from the dark brown skin up here. It's one of the things that is also helping keep this RV much cooler in the sunshine, especially handy when you know, you've got, I don't know how many square feet, but you could play you could play a full court basketball game on top of this thing. I think I wouldn't recommend it, obviously, but I think it's possible. So enough of my jibber jabber. Hope you appreciate the effort we put in here. I mean, not a lot of people will even climb up on a roof for you. I don't know that I've ever seen anyone else do it, and doing something like I do here. Additionally, not a lot of people will do it in the rain. If we're willing to go to this kind of effort for you before we've even met you, imagine what we would do for you at Haylett RV if you give us a chance to earn your business, or if you do become a Haylett RV customer. Imagine what we would do then. It's probably not an accident that we have very good ratings on things like, you know, Google scores, Facebook's reviews, all that kind of stuff. You know, we take care of people. We're not perfect. Never claimed to be, but it's never been for a lack of trying. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, remember that we don't do hidden dealer fees, but we do everything else. So if you need hitching, pieces, parts, trades, finance, truck and trailer package deals, RV delivery, everything between, it doesn't matter where you live. These things are on wheels. They can get from here to there. All I ask in return for running around today in the rain is the fair opportunity to earn your business at my family's dealership here at Haylett RV of Southern Michigan. So take care, stay safe, have fun, stay dry, and happy camping, everyone.